So again, the running joke now is that I hit the button and I don't know exactly how long it takes. So, but by
And it all breaks.
now we should be live. So hello and welcome to
Hey!
Detention Live from the RPG Academy podcast. I am Michael, and tonight I have a very extra special guest with us. It's Liisa from How We Roll. Liisa, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me. This is cool.
I'm
Glad to be here.
excited to have you. I'm a fan of the podcast. I've had the opportunity to work with Joe a couple times. I think your cast is stellar. And yeah, I'm so excited to have you on the show.
Thanks. So yeah, it's great to be here, and I love those gents. They are bless their cotton socks. They're a fine group of gents.
Yes. So if anyone isn't aware of who you are or how We Roll is, give us the scoop.
Okay, I'm Liisa Lee, and I am a voiceover actor here in LA, California, and I am a cast member and a minion of How We Roll. It is it's a group of interplaying cast members that have a bunch of D&D campaigns and some Call of Cthulhu and Pulp Cthulhu campaigns, and they're all in the UK and Ireland. I have to point that I know, Ian, I know. So don't get that wrong. And it's ridiculous fun. They're fully produced podcasts with sound effects and kind of like mood lighting of sound, and it's great fun. I love it.
Excellent. So how did you get involved with these gents in Ireland and UK? Like, where did the Liisa intersect with How We Roll?
I think Joe just asked me, but I don't know how Joe found me. So you'll have to have him on.
Okay.
And ask how he found me, because they found me, and I listened, and I was first podcast. I was like, I am in. This is amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what's your history with gaming? I'm assuming you gamed before, so like favorite game, how long you've been playing, anything you're running right now?
Oh, yes. I started gaming in high school. I was a baby ballerina at the National Academy of Arts in Champaign, Illinois, and it was the American wing of the Royal Ballet of London, and creative kids, and we lived in a dorm. So on Sundays, our DM Jeff, who everyone had a crush on, would ballerinas in the teachers' like boardroom table, like long boardroom table, full of Doritos and Dew and M&Ms and adventure, like epic adventure. He was such a good DM, and I could read before first grade. I could read before school, and I learned to read on The Hobbit. So adventure and epic adventure was very part of my heartbeat already.
Okay.
So I got to LA, and I started dating a guy who was playing this game online on the AOL dial-up days of text-based MUDs.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's old school.
Yeah, ding ding, ding, ding. Right,
Yeah.
that whole thing. And I became a game host and a player mentor, and then I started designing for this game and writing collaborating with the producer on this game. It just was like living in a good book. It was amazing. And then I found a D&D game here in LA, and then all roads lead back to D&D for me.
Yeah.
So.
All right, so not to put you on the spot, but you're a voice actor. Are you in anything that we would know, we've seen, we've heard?
I'm in little bits of things right now. I had a national campaign. You can now tell people that you know a rolling bottle.
Oh, okay.
I know.
A rolling bottle.
I know. Yeah. For Keep America Beautiful. That's my favorite still. My favorite real estate of VO, just because the cinematics are so beautiful. Keep America Beautiful is always, gorgeous, beautiful stuff. So I love it.
Okay.
And I'm in a bunch of games right now, but I can't talk about them until they're out.
I understand. Secrecy must be maintained.
Yeah, I can't. And I'm so excited about some of them because they're juicy bits and pieces and roles, and I'm a lead in something, and I can't talk about it. I got to work with one of my heroes as well, which was great. And I'm currently the lead in Threads in the Veil, which is a podcast through Nerdsmith. And this is cool. I love this idea. We are podcasting adventures of D&D, but we are the NPCs of the Shenanigoons actual play. Okay. So they're going to have adventures, and then whatever they do informs the script of the other side of that world and the people living in it.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's really cool. And I'm really excited about it, and it's been such great fun to record. It's, you just get those jobs that are like in the pocket, in your wheelhouse, and it's all delicious. It's that.
All right, fantastic. Well, thank you very much for sharing. We got a couple of our regulars in with us. Targris, New York Tater is here already.
Hi, guys.
So
Tater!
New York Tater says, I went to tech school in
Champaign-Urbana?
It says Chant AFB, which is just outside of Champaign.
Oh, nice. So, Tater, do you know Garcia's Pizza, the Flying Tomato Brothers? Is that still there?
So unfortunately there's a bit of delay. So by the time he hears this
we'll see.
Response, it'll come back. So while we're waiting, if anybody who's listening to you or is interested now in your show, where can they find you? What's the Twitter handles, websites? Where can they go to listen to How We Roll?
How We Roll is howwerollpodcast.com. And we've got the latest episodes up, and we've got a whole archive. You can listen to us through iTunes and through RSS and through Simplecast and other listen-y places. It's a technical term.
Yeah, exactly.
And and you can hear me on Nerdsmith, which I think is nerdsmith.com, I think. I'll be bad if I'm wrong. But you can look at them on Twitter. And on Twitter, I am at Liisabelle. Liisabelle.
Yeah, the double I messed me up a couple of times. I thought I was tagging you and I wasn't, so my bad.
Oh, yeah, it's legit from freshman year of high school. And banks and doctors always think I typo my own name.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. That's fun.
Yeah, so Sheriff Jetsorian joined us, another one of our regulars. Thanks for joining us.
Is it Seraph or Sheriff?
Sheriff.
Sheriff.
Jetsorian. He's a dinosaur with a cowboy hat, which is awesome.
Nice.
So again, How We Roll kind of has, I'm going to say problem, but maybe it's more of an opportunity that we have at the RPG Academy proper, is there's so many shows that it can be overwhelming to try to go back and listen, because you and the rest of the guys have been podcasting for several. I think our show and your story started real close around the same time.
3 years.
Well, we're closer to 6, so actually it's a little bit longer than that. But you guys still have like 200, 300 episodes or something crazy, don't you?
Yeah, and I honestly don't know. We'll record for half a day, and then Joe will break that up into episodes where it organically fits.
Right.
And they're all about 30 or 40 minutes, I think. So it's not the 4-hour shows that we've seen, but it's a chunk. So it's a commute drive of time.
Yep.
A lot of people have been saying, I listen to you on my commute, and I go, thank you so much. I love it.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, let's move into the show proper.
Okay.
So the first thing we do here is actually, I didn't warn you about this ahead of time, but is tradition. Liisa, what are you drinking?
This is allegedly Starfruit club soda from Trader Joe's. I love all their like mineral water flavored, not sugared mineral waters.
Okay. With
a little bit of cherry cider, like regular old Trader Joe's cherry cider.
Uh-huh.
But there also might be some citrus vodka in there.
Maybe, allegedly, right?
It's fortified. It prevents scurvy and things.
Well, I am once again drinking water, but I'm drinking it out of my Marvel Infinity War commemorative cup.
It's been a stressful day, guys.
Yep.
It's been crazy.
So one of the other things that you will learn that we say, like we try to give advice on the show on occasion, and there's one piece of advice that we give more than anything else, and that happens to be with the thing that happens before you have an actual session. It might actually be like a number that is shaped like a circle.
0.
So if we actually say that tonight, you always have to take a drink. So be careful. I don't want you to get yourself. There's no going in. If that comes up, we have to take a drink. It's just the law.
Well, there's not very much in there. If I had to chug that whole thing right now, I'm a lightweight. The nurse is in. I do not. Yeah. That's more taste than feel it. Taste it than feel it.
Gotcha.
So.
All right. So then we will do the first real part of the show, which is
so I can take it.
Extracurricular.
Okay.
And that's where we just talk about what we've been up to last couple days, couple weeks. And this can be anything that you just want to share. Usually it's like movies, books, TV, but it can be anything that you have been up to that you would want to share with our audience. So I'll let you go first.
I have, oh gosh, what have I been up to? I've been trying to finish some books on improv and comedy. I really need to reread Twelfth Night. I've not, with notation. That's a goal this month. Just because it's been on the list for a while. I haven't watched the first couple new episodes of Westworld, and I have to do it.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I have to do it. And this is sad. So all of you just all with me. I got invited to Alpha and Beta World of Warcraft for Battle of Azeroth.
Oh.
Yeah, but my computer is just on the cusp that my video card is just too old to do it. I know. And I've Alpha and Beta a lot of them. I think because of my connections with the company that I did text-based mud writing and stuff with. Mm-hmm. So I can't do it. I can't do it. And it hurts. I need a new computer, and it's a Mac, so it's soldered to the motherboard. I even looked into like getting there's got to be a workaround, a USB workaround that I can cobble together and plug a USB plug in a video card and make this work. Like $500 to $1,000 just for the workaround. I may as well just buy a new computer.
Yeah.
And be done, because it has to happen. But
yeah, that's unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear that, but maybe you'll get a new computer and get to do some beta testing, which is like a twofer.
That would be, yes, Blizzard. Hey,
if anyone's listening, anybody out there,
right? And then I get to start. I've been playing some Zero sessions with Nerds with.
Oh. Take a drink.
Hey. I've been doing that with some stuff that again, I can't talk about yet, but it's ridiculous, cool, fun.
Oh, awesome.
Just really. Yeah. And I own a D&D server. I have my own D&D server that I'm the mom of, that I created because there were toxic D&D servers on Discord, and I was so disgusted with the alt-right dog whistling and the sexism and just all of the nasty, all of the reasons, all the Gamergate, all the stuff. So I table flipped and I wrote my own server. So I can't take this anymore. This has to be an inclusive gaming experience for all ages, all creeds, all colors, all flavors, all facets of that here. And I wrote, taking my text-based mud writing experience, I wrote this like there's a town, I've got amazing DMs in Ireland and UK and Seattle and the far reaches of Seattle.
So if anyone would be interested in joining, is this like an invite only? Like how could they get in if they wanted to join your community?
It was, but it's open. I opened it up. It's the Rolling Dragon Inn, and you can find it on Twitter at the Rolling Dragon.
The Rolling Dragon?
Yeah, the Rolling Dragon Inn.
All right, very cool.
Yeah.
So if anyone's listening now or in the future and you're interested in a Discord server inclusive, which is something we harp on here at the Academy, we try to live that, but we certainly support it. We want everybody to play games and have fun. That's what it is. Just whoever you are, you're welcome at the table. Let's play some games together and have a good time.
Yeah. And we've got amazing lore master smiths that they just know the lore and can help everyone. It's super fun. And it's a whole RP server. It's a whole town. Come to Greymere and live and run around in there, or find a game and play some sessions. So, yeah.
Okay. Excellent. So since you mentioned it, I'll say I have been watching Westworld. Westworld is one of my favorite TV shows right now. So is Legion on FX.
I need to watch this.
Both of those shows, I finished watching them going, I am so dumb. I enjoy them, but I have no idea what's happening. I generally will have to watch the episode a second time to have any idea what's happening. And even then, I'm still not always on it.
Right.
But I listen to a couple podcasts about Westworld, and that helps me digest. And they will give theories, and it kind of helps me go with that.
Twitterverse. I don't care about spoilers at all. I am the anti-caring person of give me all the spoilers. I don't care. I just want to enjoy the show, and I won't get it. So I'll go to Twitter and go, oh, that's what that was. Or that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. I just want to, exactly like you, I just want to enjoy it. I don't really care if I get it or not, because I'll get it later.
Yeah. I mean, it's even if I don't get it, I still enjoy it. It's still an amazing show. Both of them, both Legion and Westworld, are amazing.
Yeah.
Going to go see Deadpool 2 tomorrow. Pretty excited about that.
Yes.
I really liked the first one a lot. I'm hoping this one will be equally as good, if not better.
Shout out.
Yep. Oh, so I'm in the process of trying to get 2 different games started. There's no timetable on either of them, and I'm well known for starting and letting things die, so who knows if it'll ever happen. But I'm working on a 13th Age Eberron game, which I
heard rumors. I heard little birds of that.
Yes, I am super excited about getting that started. I love Eberron. I've said many times it's my favorite setting I've ever played in, other than my own. And I really like 13th Age. I think 13th Age is a great system, and I'm interested in trying both. So I just thought, well, rather than trying to get 2 different games, I'll just combine them together. So right now I've got some people who are giving me character pitches. So I've told anyone who's interested can throw in up to 3, no more than 3, character pitches for what they want to play, and I'm going to pick, basically I'm going to cast the show from those pitches and put everything together. Obviously you can't play more than 1 character, so even if I love all 3 of them, you only get 1 in. Yeah. There's no real set time for this, but I'm thinking maybe July, and it probably will be recorded, but for release much later. There's not going to be any pressure as far as like turning episodes around. I'm going to wait till everything's done. It's only going to be like 4 or 5 sessions. That's the plan. Just be a beginning, middle, end.
He says that now. It'll be 8 or 9 sessions. Don't worry.
No,
don't worry, guys.
It'll be 30, and then it'll die in the middle because that's who I am.
No.
And then just recently, actually as of last night, I'm also really getting into Fantasy Age. Have you ever played Fantasy Age at all?
I have not. But are those Disney artists? Are those ex-Disney artists? Am I remembering right? I could be wrong.
I do not.
But I think that's pinged my radar because I have a huge love and back history with Disney. So I think I could be wrong.
It's produced by Green Ronin Publishing. I don't know who the artist are.
Yeah, Green Ronin. Yeah.
And so I really like it. I'm really enjoying it. So, but I say kick the tires. I want to play around with it. So what we're going to do is basically we're going to do it like Shadow the Demon Lord style, where we're going to start a campaign at level 1, and every session they're going to level, no matter what. So there'll be level 1, next session level 2. And so we got to get a chance to play at every level of the system and kind of kick the tires on it. And that's probably won't be recorded, but I probably will do podcasts about the experience. But I don't know that we're going to record that just because I got enough content right now as it is, so which is amazing for us. Usually we're scrambling, but we've got so much stuff now.
Awesome problem.
It is an awesome problem to have. But that's what I've been up to. Again, living the good life. Got the kids and doing all that stuff. We got them a Switch. It was my youngest birthday, and we got a new Switch, which means I got a Switch. So I will be getting Zelda soon. I have not played it yet, so I'm pretty excited about that as well.
Nice.
All right.
Very nice.
Very nice. All right, so let's move into our first of our improv games, which is most people watch these just because we make asses of ourselves. So the first one is called 10 Things. Are you familiar with what the 10 Things improv game is?
No.
Perfect. So
y'all are getting like this 10 Things virgin right here. I'm just going to jump in with both feet. Yes, and
that's the way it works. So we're going to give each other a prompt, and it's going to be 10 of something. So like I might say, Lisa, give me.
Oh, that's right.
Give me 10 examples of blank. And you need to try to come up with 10. And immediacy is more important than accuracy. So that always keeps everyone up.
All right, so I won't write anything down. I thought I was going to give myself notes. No.
Right. They don't need to be good answers. They just need to be answers. You're the guest. Would you like to give me a prompt first to see how the game goes, or do you want me to give you the prompt, rip the Band-Aid off, and get it over with?
Give me the prompt so I see how it goes.
Okay. So I'm going to give you the prompt, so you will be the first to actually do it, okay?
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Because then I can think of something really embarrassing to prompt you next.
Yeah. I try to tie everything back to what we've talked about so far whenever I can, but it doesn't always work. So I'm trying to think of a good one for you and your background here.
Rut-row.
Yeah. All right. I'll make it easy on you. Lisa, what are 10 games, RPG games, that you have not played that you want to play?
All of them? Lord. The rest of the Cthulhu's.
1.
All of the do I get each of the stories for D&D? Because that would be like at least 3 more.
Well, that would be a different. You're talking about
like
different
Princess
games.
of the Apocalypse.
Nope.
Oh yeah, that's D&D. All right, so at least the other D&D things.
Okay, 2.
The Star Wars version of Blades in the Dark.
3.
Because Blades in the Dark is amazing. I don't. Oh Lord, I've not played any of the. I've not played Settlers of Catan. I've not played Munchkin. I have not played. No, those are like tabletops, not RPGs,
yeah, I'm talking
right?
about role-playing games. And again, they don't even have to be real.
I am
so you could just make stuff up. It's all that matters.
Oh, fantastic. Well, then Settlers of the Realms.
4.
I have not played that RPG. I have not played Goldshire Tragedy.
5.
I've not played that one. Yeah, I've not played that one. I have not played Corruption at Settlers Creek.
6.
I've not played that one. A really good one. Really good one. I've not played Baker's Dozen.
7.
I've never played that one, and I hear pretty good things about it. The expansions are cool.
It uses a D12, which is the best die.
Exactly. I've not played Ampersand Conflagration.
8.
I've not played that one. I've not played Dragonborn Cities of Tomorrow. I've
9.
not played that one, and I've not played Detention Tragedy.
10. Whoa.
Yeah,
10
I've not played that one.
Yay.
But soon, I think.
They're on the.
We'll get together. They are. We'll get together. We'll roll those up.
Fantastic. All right, so now it's my turn.
All right. Because this is Detention.
Mm-hmm.
Give me 10 reasons that you got in trouble or detention in school.
Streaking.
I knew this would be good.
Sleeping
Holy
in
shit.
class. Never doing homework. Playing D&D during class.
Props for that. Points for that.
Kissing other people.
Nice. You're welcome, chat. You're welcome.
Not showing up, so truancy. Spitwads.
Guilty.
Impromptu charade fights. And
next RPG we play.
And streaking again. Yay!
Yay!
And I'm not saying any of those are real. That's not the point of the game. So just saying.
It's not the point.
That's right.
Excellent. I'm sure chat is going to have your yearbook photos in a minute.
I had a mullet
on Twitter.
I had a mullet.
Yes.
It was great. Oh, I was such a dork. Oh,
Make me proud.
God. Yes. Sorry, I'm in nostalgia. Okay. So now we'll move into the actual meat and potatoes of Detention. This is what we call used books. And this is where we're going to take a look back at a campaign, dissect it a little bit, see if there's any lessons learned, things that we did that went well that we want to try to incorporate in more games, or something that maybe fell apart tragically and we're like, okay, let's avoid that in the future. So you're my guest on that, Lisa. Do you have a campaign you can talk about?
I do. I have a couple. I mean, I've been in a couple, and I'm in a couple now. I can give you a tragedy and a triumph.
Just pick one, because
just pick one.
Yeah.
I don't want to give that tragedy any airtime. They don't deserve it.
Okay.
So, I think that there's an amazing DM in our server, and in the games that we play, they're kind of one shots, but it's also kind of a campaign. Okay. And one of our lore masters has been slowly building one shots that are arcing into lore for Faerun and the area that we're in.
Okay.
We're really not made up. It's pretty raw.
So like serialized one shots.
Kind of serial, exactly. And some of the players are really young and new and really eager. So I don't want to be the school marm of that, and I don't want to crush creativity. So we had a player that was like that came in RPing in the world where all of a sudden our little town is Greymere. That's where we are. We're in Faerun. We're actually on the Rovan River, and you can find it on a map that we've put a dot on a real Sword Coast map.
Sure.
And he came into the server brand new and said, I'm going to give a tour of Graymere for everyone that wants one. And we're all like, what is happening? What is happening? And I thought, this is going to be tragic, but this could also be epic. This was somebody that we'd never seen in the server before who just took the initiative to be a leader. And I'm like, strokey beard, where is this going to go?
Yep.
What is going to happen?
It's going to be something, but is it something good or something tragic?
It's going to be something big either way. So I was like, I don't want to crush this person's dream here. This could be amazing or really obnoxious and really nasty. So he starts telling all these complete falsehoods, these complete fabrications, and he's literally leading like live 7 or 8 actual people through channels in the server of the town green and the tavern, and he's really leading people. We're like, oh my God. And meanwhile, in the back channels, DMs are like, what is happening? What is going on? I'm like, I know, I just want to see. I just kind of want to see what's happening. So all this stuff is fake. And then one of the people kind of chimes in, this is not good. This isn't whatever. And in this server, you'll also see some anagrams and maybe some inserts of some of our D&D heroes that live and breathe in the real world.
Okay.
Allegedly. So the man at the door of the tavern, who was kind of tuning his lute and like listening, kind of had to get up and take a sip of his coffee, set it down, pop his hat, and kind of look, play his lute a little more. And then he stood up. He's a tall, burly he looks kind of like a metal rocker, but he's a bard in black.
Okay.
Basically. And that's kind of stopped everything. But instead of giving him a waggy finger, it's kind of like, that's pretty cool. that's quite a tale. You know, we need a storyteller in the tavern if you want to earn some coin in a room, if you want to, because that's a great story. I mean, you're full of shit, but that was a great story. And instead of making him just stop his whole spiel, this became a thing, and now he is this kind of fixture who's in more games and more storytelling, and they've built a little bit of a thing that's really cool.
Okay.
So that's Triumph, taking something that could have been really, really arrogant or really edgelordy, kind of Mary Sue-y, into something really positive by not ridging up against that and giving him the room to have an out, yet still yes and what he was doing.
Gotcha. Okay. So there's a couple things in there I think we can pull out and talk about. The first being the serialized one-shots. I think that's, I'm sure you're not the first group to have done that, but it's not something I see a whole lot. I know there's some like Adventurers League stuff. A lot of those are somewhat interconnected, but by the nature they can't be too connected because you don't know who's going to show up next time, that kind of good stuff. But I like the idea of trying to do one-shots, particularly with our podcast, because we legitimately have trouble of keeping our campaigns going, where they don't have to go on forever. You could do a one-shot, and then the next one, there's some sort of legacy element. It could be the same characters. It could be the same town. It could be something where something that happened in the first one is referenced or, is an inciting incident to what the next group of players is trying to deal with. Have you, beyond this specific instance, have you ever done any serialized games like that where it wasn't a campaign but the games were connected in some way?
I think that is kind of the nature of running session games in Discord servers. Unless you're planning to do a podcast or planning to do a streaming show, the nature of that beast is kind of one-shots. But I really love that these DMs that I adore, and they are the pillars of what I built. They're so great. Have taken the lore of Faerun and what they know, and built those ideas on what players have done in other games. And or trinkets that I've never seen DMs do this. They would roll for trinkets at the end of the loot session, loot, blah, blah. And then they'd take some of these trinkets and make a whole couple sessions on that person and what's going to happen fate-wise with whatever that trinket was. So it's not a big magic item. They're not overpowering the group of people, but all of a sudden it has a lot more meaning. And I think it's amazing. I think it's just absolutely brilliant. Yeah, we have one guy who just this morning, somebody's pinging me going, hey, do you have an NPC on the server that can true resurrect? I'm like, yes, we have a temple mother. Why? Well, I just got a bottle with a dead sprite inside. I'm like, oh, here we go. Oh God, what is happening? Because we have one of our DMs has a sprite NPC in the game, in the world.
Okay.
And there's only one. I thought, is this genocide? How is that person gonna now, like, all of a sudden it became, this could be a city changing event. This could be a town involved thing if he wants to, or he just thought it was gonna be cool to have a follower to get a, right? Which wouldn't be as cool. And I was so relieved when this player was like, no, I would love to find a DM to make a quest of this, like he's seen happen with all these other things that have been going on. So I'm really excited to see that people are not giving my loot and having an eye to, who's a new player in the server, having an eye to the life of the town, the life of what is there and what they built, and having multiple sessions from that go on and on. I think it's cool.
Okay.
It was a long rambling answer.
No. Again,
I think I answered your question.
So one of the other things that you mentioned, to frame it, I guess, a little bit differently, is the idea of you're taking what a player is giving you, and you're just sort of guiding it. I mean, it sort of falls into the yes and it sort of falls into the yes but sort of category. So you have this player who seems very excited. They want to do this cool thing, but that cool thing doesn't really fit everything else. It's sort of anachronistic to the world, and so you have to find a way to cope with that. And either you shut it down and you say, sorry, that none of that happened, or you have to find a way to make it make sense. And what this person in particular did is they took what they said and they acknowledged that it wasn't real, but they were still saying it. So we didn't say you never said it. We're just saying that what you're saying isn't true, but that's okay.
That's smart.
And actually, what it reminded me of, and I don't know why exactly, but I used to. You ever watch the TV show Last Comic Standing? It was a reality show, like maybe 8-10 years ago.
I've seen bits, yeah.
Okay, so there was I used to watch that like two or three seasons in a row. I loved it, and there was one in particular. I think the guy's name was Ant. Very flamboyant comic, and one of their challenges, they were on like a Star Tours bus through Hollywood, and they were supposed to be the person talking or whatever. And most of them were doing terrible. Like they were trying to read the book and they were like, oh, this is, Hugh Hefner's house. And that's, whoever, Sally Jesse Raphael. So when Ant got up there, he just made stuff up. And it was clear that he was making stuff up, but it was awesome. Funny. I mean, he would just start pointing at things, like there'd be like a random person on the street. He'd be like, there's, Steve Buscemi, or that's Steven Spielberg or whatever. And it was so funny, and everyone started laughing. Everyone was into it, but everyone knew he was full of crap. But he still won the challenge, and I don't know why, but that's what popped in my head, is that you're taking what they're doing, you're saying it's not true, but you're still enjoying it, and you're still lifting it up and saying this is awesome that you're doing. It's just not real.
Yeah, I love that. I really am a proponent of guiding people. As Milton Casellas used to say, find the good and praise it. Mm-hmm. Find the good and praise it. I don't want to. I've already been in servers where DMs were derisive and captious with people and snide and negating ideas and really cool things that could have been cool, but if it wasn't there, they didn't have their thumbprint on it, then it was crap. And I'd much rather find the fun. It's all about having fun, and it's all about the story. So how can we weave a great story? Okay, you got that jar. Okay, there's a sprite in it. It's a dead sprite. Well, that's 1,000 gold to resurrect it. Got it? No, but maybe. So that gives him time now, and the DM's time to start writing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, and finding there's already enough negativity in the world. Yeah. We're playing a game. Let's have some kudos for the creativity.
So one thing I will say here, because I've run into this myself, is where sometimes as the DM, there's certain elements to a game that I want to behold to. So again, very famously, I've run games where there's no magic. Like you're in a world that has no magic, so no one can play a magic user. Like it's just you're not allowed to play a magic user because there's no such thing as magic. And I think that's okay. I think it's totally cool as long as, again, session 0, everyone take a drink, and everyone knows what's going on.
Hey.
And the players are, they're in on it. It's not a surprise. They don't show up to the first game with a magic user. I'm like, actually, you're a peasant because your magic doesn't work. But I'm okay with saying
awesome.
You can't be a magic user because in this game there is no such thing as magic. But if you have a player who wants to be a magic user, can you just let them think they're a magic user? And just have they believe that they're a magic user, but they're not. And the world knows they're not because there's no such thing, but they believe it in their heart and soul. So rather than saying no, you say, okay, you think you're a magic user. Let's roll with that because that will be fun and funny as long as everyone's on board.
Yeah, I love that. That's really cool. I cast Magic Missile. You're adorable. Can you go hit the thing?
It's just like the LARP. He's just like throwing little rice bags. Magic missile, magic missile, and then like someone else has to stab them. Like, good job, Chief. And in those games specifically, I'll say that there's always magic is always coming back. That's always what the story's about. Is that magic's coming back into the world? So you can't start as a magic user, but maybe like at 3rd level, you can multi-class, or I'll just let you change your class or whatever. And now you can be a magic user because magic's come back. So even when I say no, it's more like not yet than no.
And I love that. I do. I really appreciate the working toward a goal. Don't give me my magic item and my thing. I really love the idea of earning it because between 3rd and 8th level, there is awesomeness that can be had. And I love enjoying the journey of that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to look back and go, oh, I got the thing. Yeah, I got it.
Then I got another one.
Yeah, because there's all those other storytelling moments that can happen on that quest for the thing. That is, to me, where D&D lives. I am not a min-maxer. I'm not a melee. I am the magic user. I am the ranged helper fighter perpetually.
Yeah.
It really freaks me out to have to be a melee fighter. So I just love the help and the journey that I love all that.
And then sort of I guess the last thing that I would call out, and certainly if you have other things you want to call out, we can address them, kind of fit into that same thing is the players will tell you what they want to do and what's fun to them because it's what they do when you don't give them anything else to do. So this person had fun just creating this lore, real or imagined. But just to port that into a different situation, if, in the game, they've just completed an arc, they've beat the villain they've been on to for 2 levels, and, they're like, okay, we got all this loot, what do we want to do with it? I know, I want to buy a hideout, and I want to set up with traps. That's something they want to do. They have told you that that's something that they think will be fun. Don't gloss over that. It can be something that's downtime if like everyone else at the table isn't interested, but this person is. But if everyone seems like, oh, that's cool, then make that part of the game. Make the whole next session them going like, make it like the TV shows where they go to 3 different places. They have to pick a house, like 3 layers. Which layer are they going to go with? Well, this one has a dungeon, but it doesn't have access to the river. Go with it however you think would be funny. So fun. And then, let them, and then I guess to wrap that up is that if you give them a layer and they fill it full of traps, someone needs to break into it at some point in time because otherwise it's wasted. Like make someone try to get in there and let the traps take care of them. You could even, I don't know, maybe role reversal and let them be the NPCs who are attacking and then they have to fight their own way through. I don't know. But
so fun.
They want that to be a thing. Let it be a thing.
Yeah, very, very much so. And I love downtime projects like that. I love it. I love doing it. I love watching people do it. I love listening in on that stuff. I have a ball.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Right, well, we'll throw it out to chat as we often do. So anyone in chat has any comments about the campaign that Liisa shared or any examples they can share with us of times when that has happened? And while we're waiting for chat to catch up, we will talk about the next section of the show, which is actually everyone's favorite part, which is where we absolutely make fools of ourselves and that is, where have my fingers been? Now, I sent you a link. Did you watch, or do you have any idea what this is?
I didn't get a link.
I sent you a link. That's all that matters. Doesn't matter. Okay, fine. This is perfect because I'm terrible at it. So there's no pressure because no matter what you do, it will be better than me, and I'm supposedly the expert here.
Oh my God, chat! I'm so sorry. I apologize now.
No,
here we go.
They will actually probably enjoy it better. So it's another improv game. It's called Where Have My Fingers Been? It's very important because I got yelled at last time. I forgot. There's a song you have to sing first, and you'll sing, where have my fingers been? I said, where have my fingers been?
Okay.
Then you will give me a prompt. I will give you a prompt, and you have to create a scene based on that prompt between your two little fingers. So it could be like you're in line at Gen Con to see Critical Role, and they're talking to each other. It could be you're in Middle Earth, and Gandalf just walked by. Whatever you want it to be, but you create a little scene, you talk back and forth, and there you go.
All right.
So, do you want to get the prompt first and do the scene, or do you want to give the prompt first and me do the scene?
Give me the prompt again so that I can just make a fool of myself and then think of something diabolical to give you.
Okay. So first you gotta sing the song.
Where have my fingers been? Say, where have my fingers been?
Perfect. You are in the tavern, and a bard has just told you the most absurd story that you know is not true, and you want to say something. There's two of you.
Is one of them the bard that said it?
Can be. You need two people you want.
And then there was a bear, and the bear, he had a hat. He had a hat, and he beat up those orcs. Like, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. That's silly. No, I think you've been drinking. I think that you've just been. There's no such thing as bears and hats. Ha 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 ha. You've been in your cups. Have a cider, unless you're cotton socks. No, really, it's a bear. It was a bear. I don't. Maybe it was not only a bear. Maybe it was your cousin Sally. Well, that's not funny. Yeah, I think it's as funny as a bear. Do I keep going?
No, you can quit whatever you want. And you yell, that's where my fingers have been.
And that's where my fingers have been.
Yay! Fantastic. Awesome. So to give me a second to gather myself, Sheriff Jetsorian mentioned that I had a DM that started out strong and did a long downtime session with me where I took over a gang of youths and reframed rehabilitating them into productive citizens. I structured everything along the lines of a gang leader enforcer with code names, etc., and all the while educating them and finding them gainful employment.
I love that.
Yes. So you take something
Rock on, Sheriff.
that could just be like a 5-minute throwaway thing, and you make it important to the character. And again, it was a downtime session, so it wasn't taking time away from the table from the other players who may not have cared.
Yeah.
Maybe you could even incorporate them if people are game for it. Let the other players be those NPC youths and let them have a scene. Maybe it's only 10 minutes at the table where they're interacting and you're talking, and you have that moment where you inspire them.
I would totes be a ute.
The two
for
what?
you, Sheriff.
Yeah, the two what?
I'd be what utes.
The two what? Sorry, Your Honor.
Utes.
I love that movie. Okay, my turn.
Okay.
Where have my fingers been? I said, where have my fingers been?
Okay. One of them is a cosplayer in a really uncomfortable cosplay outfit.
Okay.
And one of them is a girl super, super excited to see her favorite star at the con.
Okay. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! I can't breathe. Oh my god! Can I have your autograph? I can't breathe. This corset is so tight. I can't breathe. Selfie! And that's where my fingers have been.
Hey, selfie! Perfect. That's perfect. And I'm sure that is also true to life. I'm sure that's happened.
Oh, fantastic. So not another Nathan has joined us as well. Welcome to the show.
Hello, not another Nathan.
So now we're going to move into somewhat of the last section. It's like the last official section. Then we have a couple other sections, so it's not the last, but I always call it the last. And that is Cryptozoology. And this is where we take a look at a monster that we may have used previously in a campaign or we've experienced. We talk about the ways we've used them in the past. I'm saying youth. Or we can talk about maybe some brainstorming, some ways that we can use them in the future. So, Liisa, once again, you are our guest. Do you have a monster you would like to talk about tonight?
I do.
Fantastic. Lay it on me.
My favorite monster, and they're not powerful. It's not a big thing. I happen to just be quite enamored. I think they're adorable, and I love dark mantles.
So, dark mantle. Oh, my light fell.
Wait, pull back.
Somewhere in there. So 5th edition, page 46. It's a small monstrosity. It's unaligned. Challenge rating 1/2. So yes, this is not challenging. Has echolocation, so it can basically use blind sight like a bat. False appearance. If it's not moving, it's indistinguishable from a stalactite or stalagmite. It can crush you, and it can cast darkness once a day in a 15-foot radius. So that's at least the 5th edition version.
They're inconvenient. They're fun.
So tell me about the times you've used one and why you like them so much.
I love them because I think vampire squids are really cool. So you guys can now Google vampire squid.
Vampire squids on it? Are
a real thing, and they have claw hooks instead of tentacles. They're nasty, and they're so cool. I love them just because just the idea of these things. When I was little, I thought octopuses scared the heck out of me. And now I think they're adorable. Well, they're aliens. Yes. I know. The article this week, they're aliens from frozen in space and fallen to Earth. Yay, conspiracy theories and stuff. But I love them. I think they're cool, and I use them in a game. Before the 2nd season of our favorite show came out, I had written my very first session writing as a DM. I wrote a dark carnival, and our adventurers didn't know that this was a necromantic carnival who were kind of feeding off the souls. These undead elves and half orcs and things were feeding off the souls of the guests coming to the carnival and riding the rides and doing stuff. And the first tent that they happened to go into was, I made it an enormous dark mantle. The whole top of the tent was a dark mantle. So, because no one ever looks up, right? So the ground got squishy and a little wet, and they could hear water dripping, but they weren't really sure why. The hay on the floor, the rushes were wet. And it was like its tentacles were holding the candle sconces lit in the room. And that was my favorite, because I just kept thinking, the jig's going to be up. The jig's going to be up. They're going to look up and they're going to realize this is bad news. No one looked up. So that was my favorite. I mean, I ramped up its CR and I ramped up its damage ability, but that was, and it was like the pet, like the watch guard pet of this dark carnival, and it lived in its own like cave pocket plane.
Okay. So I will confirm, I won't say no one, but very few people will look up. I was in security for many years, and I would watch people on camera stealing, and we would call it the lighthouse, and this is where someone would go right before they would steal, but they would never look up and they would never look down, but they'd always look left to right. It was so obvious most of the time. If they didn't know what they were doing, it was so obviously easy to catch them. So how did that resolve? Like, did you kill everyone in the party? Did they eventually fight it? Did they run away? Like, what was the end of that scene when they finally realized in some way, oh my God, we're inside of a dark mantle?
They realized something was up when all of the other patrons watching, like the hurdy-gurdy dancer, were up and leaving, and they weren't speaking. Yeah. They realized something was up when they were alone. She left, and she said she gave them. They rolled high enough perception, or some of the roll that she said something to the other half orc in the party that, like, beware.
Okay.
And they got out with the last guy with 1 hit point left.
Wow.
Yeah. And as my first DM, like that was my first fight encounter as a DM too. So I was like, I'm gonna kill them all first. Oh my God.
Start off strong.
Right.
So
Nelly.
So I'm going dark here, which is
Liz.
so is a dark carnival. But what I like about that idea is to have some sort of not necessarily warning, but like foreshadowing. I mean, I've probably seen a dozen movies or video games or stories where there's a circus in town and now kids are gone missing. Where it could be like, okay, there's the circus has been in town for 3 days. Every day there's at least like one person. Maybe it's not a kid. Maybe it's a person, adult, who's gone missing. We don't know what's happening. Would you please help us? So they go to the circus looking for something suspicious. They think the circus master, the acrobats, the strongman, what's going on, not realizing that it's the tent, and the tent is like picking up one person or the last person in or out to eat. It could even be benign. Maybe it doesn't realize it. Maybe it thinks this is food. It's it could even be that
that's its payment.
That the circus doesn't even know what it is. There's all these different reasons that it could be happening, where you have to. Well, obviously it's eating people, so you have to do something with it. But if you treat it like an actual creature, do you put it down, or do you set it free in the wild and say, you're a bear. Bears eat things. Sorry you ate somebody, but you're not evil. Or do you kill it? I like the idea of they know something's up, so they're all on their guard. And then they realize that's what it is. It's not the other thing.
Yeah, because the real baddies were these necromancers and undead elves and undead. We had a hag in there telling fortunes and stuff. But it was really fun that they didn't pick up. I was really clear that the ground was wet. I was really clear that the sconces were kind of waving. Mm-hmm. They were kind of rocking like on a boat, but you're on dry land. It's not. Something's
up. Yeah.
Something's up.
So dark mantles, in the book as they're written, they're not very powerful creatures. So even a first level party, if you're fighting one or two of them, it's not going to be that hard of a fight. I don't know if I've used the dark mantle specifically, but I know I've used things like cloakers before, and I think we mentioned before we recorded about the smothering rug, where as you're attacking it, you're also attacking your friends, which makes them
rug of smothering.
Makes them a lot more dangerous, because I stabbed the rug, but I also stabbed my friend inside there.
Yeah.
So I want to try to think of a way that we can use them where they're not like hitting them with a stick until they die is not that fun. At least I don't think so. So what are some ways that we can use them that makes them more of a challenge or interesting? The first thing I thought of, it does have the darkness. So I don't know what their intelligence is, but I'll suit my own needs. But what if they're smart enough that they're using their darkness not as an attack, but to lead people in a certain direction? Like they have darkness on before the players or PCs get to a place. They're like, well, that way's dark, this way's light, let's go this way. And they just navigate them almost like a will of the wisp until they get them to where they want them to be, which could be to their mother, to a pet, to a whatever.
Very true.
I don't know if that would work. Or there just has to be because I can see the scene where they're like in a cave and they look up and there's like a bajillion of them, and they're like, "Holy crap, we have to be quiet!" And it becomes that scene where everyone's trying to sneak, and every little sound, everyone's on hairpins and needles. But it's not like there's going to be one. Like if you alert them, they're all coming down. But beyond that, can you think of any interesting ways that we could use dark mantles?
I think, what could you do? They normally live in caves. I think they could be a pretty interesting guard system for wine cellars, natural wine cellars in someone's mansion, mm-hmm. someone's dark, spooky, fantastic kind of abode. I think that they would be, if they also be a great guard system for even a party of people that lived, if they didn't use darkness as a will-o-wisp, they could use darkness as an inky thing. If they get scared, don't rustle them, don't scare them, or they'll ink, right? They'll darkness, and we can't find our way to where we need to go. Even if they don't even attack. Right. And I love that they have echolocation, because one of my favorite spells as a player is blindness, shatter and blindness, deafness. I think they're clutch. I love being able to just go, your big baddie is now blind and can't see any of us. woohoo, sorry. Much to the chagrin of DMs, but I love that, and I love that you can get around that with their equivocation.
Yeah, I do like that a lot. The idea that their darkness isn't necessarily an attacking feature; it's a defense mechanism, much like ink. Because what I like about that is that you could have the players where they use that to their advantage. So like they get through them the first time, and then maybe they're being chased by the bad thing, and so they then intentionally cause it to happen behind them. So you've taken this monster and made the first it was a challenge,
made it work for you,
and then it's a benefit. And I love doing that with monsters where it's not
cool.
just stab it with a stick until it's dead. I had a couple of notes in chat I'm going to try to catch up with.
do it.
Not Another Nathan says he does like the Dark Carnival idea. Also, I can see an It-type clown, but everyone else being clueless. So there's like a evil clown in the carnival. They could use darkness to cover up the doors the PCs could escape from, so it keeps them trapped because they can't find their way out. And then my favorite is, this is from New York Tater, what about a tavern with an actual mantle above the fireplace? So the dark mantle above it.
Is the mantle.
Yeah. Hiding in plain sight, as they say.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right.
Yeah, I love having these hiding in plain sight. I really do.
Interesting. All righty.
Do you have one? Do you have a favorite monster?
It depends. I'm a big fan of doppelgangers because I love to mess with my players. So, the movie The Thing from like Russell Crowe, or not Russell Crowe. Oh my God, Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell. I love that movie.
I went right with you on that.
It's so influential to the way I run games. I love that. Who's infected? Am I infected? Can we trust anybody? Elements of games. So I probably use doppelgangers for not just like a big bad, but like, little fights, it's going to be a lot of goblins. But like when there's like an actual intrigue or espionage, there's almost always a doppelganger in there somewhere.
Yes.
Nice.
Funny you should say doppelganger, but I can't talk about it.
But doppelganger.
Yay, doppelganger.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll go ahead and wrap things up there. So the last thing that we do, the official last thing, is question and answer. So we'll go to the chat. If anybody has any questions for myself or for Liisa in particular, feel free to throw them in here. While we're waiting for chat to catch up, because there is a delay, once again, Liisa, where can people find you on the internet or the shows, any of them that you're involved with?
You can find me on Twitter at Liisabelle, Liisabelle. You can find me in the Discord of How We Roll. You can find me at the Rolling Dragon Inn Discord and on Twitter, Rolling Dragon Inn as well. And I am Meryl, the lead of Threads in the Veil at Nerdsmith.
Excellent. I keep hearing
and
that.
On How We Roll, somebody is desperately trying to stop.
I didn't know if that was me or with you.
It's me. Okay. Somebody's trying to give me website info.
No worries. Again, I was just like, is it me?
No, they're giving me tasks to do for the website.
So the one question that we ask everyone, so this will kind of kick things off, is if you, Liisa, were an action figure, what are the 3 accessories that would come in the package?
If I was an action figure, I've always thought I would either be the Jaded Lady or the Gilded Lily. Those are my 2. Or I'd be like a doppelganger.
Okay, yeah.
I would have poison.
Okay. Like a weapon or just like a vial?
A vial.
Okay.
I think
an apple?
Maybe. That's one. I would have oh gosh, let me think. What would I would have like daggers that were arcane.
Okay. Like a ceremonial arcane dagger?
I think I'd have a couple of daggers that were like superhero force daggers.
Okay, gotcha.
Whoosh, and come back. Like not actual metal daggers. They were like or they were telekinetic energy daggers.
Gotcha. Okay.
That would be And
so those would actually be really cheap to put in the package because it's just a handle. And then you're just like, they're invisible.
They're invisible. Exactly. And I think something about justice, because I think my superhero, my packaging, she would mete out justice that didn't happen.
Like blindfolds in a scale type of justice. Justice is blind,
but more not blind so much as not blind, and that's why people need her.
Okay.
Right? Blind justice doesn't always come through, so she's going to get justice for the people that it didn't work for.
Okay, so maybe like something like true seeing, Jim, something that lets you see to the heart of the matter.
Nice, I love that. Yes, I'll say yes to that. I love that, true seeing, Jim. Yeah.
Excellent. So Sheriff Jetsarian says some scales, a blindfold, and a massive mallet. I thought I said mullet for a second. I thought he was giving a call back to me.
I would totes have a mullet, man. I would do it. I would do that too.
It's probably been 6 months now because time flies for me. But,
since you had a mullet?
No, but since I shared a picture of one of my good friends when I was growing up, found I used to be into martial arts a lot when I was in high school, and we would go to tournaments, and we went to a tournament and we won some trophies. And so the local, I'm from a super small town in southeastern Kentucky, like 300 people type of thing. And so, there's 4 of us kids. We won a bunch of trophies. So we were in the paper. Like, we got in the newspaper. Nice. And there's a picture of all of us in our gis standing around in like a semicircle with our trophies in front of us. And we all, just the most awful looking crew of people. Mullets, long hair, rat tails. It's awful. But
sweep the leg, man. Sweep the leg.
Sweep the leg. Absolutely. I was so into that. And then I got old and fat. And now here we are. All right. So one last time.
We don't have to talk about that.
Yeah, exactly. Streaking.
What?
Yeah.
Sorry, streaking.
So I'll throw it one more time to chat. If anybody else has any questions, please throw them in. But thank you so much for joining me. I had a blast. It was great to finally get to meet you face to face. I know we've been talking on Twitter a little bit.
Yeah.
Next time you see Joe and the rest of the guys, please make sure you say hello for me. And we need to do something. We need to like partner in some way, get some more cross-stream action going on.
I'm so excited for that. We have ideas.
Excellent.
Yes, excellent. We have ideas. Yeah, thanks so much for having me, and thanks, chat. Totally thrilled to be here for Real. And look for, hopefully, stuff that we all get to do together with RPG Academy.
That would be fantastic. So
we're going to make a ruckus, sir.
So, Sheriff Jetsarian, there's people talking about hair now, but I've come really close to shaving my head a couple of times. I don't think I would look good bald, but my hair just, so sometimes I have the imagination of shaving it, but I'll never actually do it. A good head of hair is one of the few genetic gifts I've been given. So I actually have good, healthy hair, so I don't want to screw with that. If I start going bald, I'll cut it all off. But right now, fingers crossed, knock on wood, I actually have decent hair as I'm getting into my old 40s. But anyway, I'm rambling. Thank you all. We're going to have a good night, and we do an awkward wave out. Bye.
Awkward wave out. Shout out to Bill Corso for all the makeup for Deadpool.